John Carpenter's Halloween from 1978 is a movie that I've seen many times before, as you probably have as well, but it's a movie that I've never seen quite like this before. So the other night I stumbled upon something on YouTube that I'd previously only read about in hushed tones in the pages of magazines like Fangoria back in the day. That was in the very much in the pre-internet times of the 80s and early 90s, when seeing a lot of these holy grails was completely out of the question. And one of those holy grails was the famed television edit of John Carpenter's Halloween from 1978, which aired on NBC as their movie of the week. And it was the stuff of legend at the time. Obviously, I'd never seen it. I'd only seen the Australian VHS release. And all I could really do was read about these additional scenes for the 1981 broadcast and imagine these additional scenes. And that was about as close as it got in the pages of Fangoria. But I did stumble upon this one on YouTube, so I thought I'd just give my thoughts on the 1981 television broadcast of the 1978 John Carpenter Halloween movie. So this one was a big deal back in the day. From what I understand, the additional scenes were shot to compensate for the cut scenes to do with nudity, of course, and violence, and also drug use, because this was back in the day when network television had a fairly low tolerance for such things, and it was prior to the rise of cable TV, and obviously prior to the rise of DVD and Blu-ray and so on and so forth. So it was quite common to see these alternate versions popping up on network television of various movies. The Exorcist was a good example, because there were a lot of expletives and a lot of things like crucifix masturbation scenes that really weren't going to fly on network television at the time. And Halloween was no different. But the different thing about this one was that John Carpenter did shoot some extra scenes for the television cut. And he shot these extra scenes because, rather fortuitously, of course, he was making Halloween 2 at the time that they were negotiating these TV deals, using a fair few of the same cast, and other cast members were able to come back. And as a result, he was able to cheaply reshoot at the time and deliver these extra, some say filler scenes, that would make a slightly cut version of Halloween more palatable to television, and also add a bit of exposition, I guess you'd say, to maybe make things a bit easier for a NBC movie of the week audience to understand. So the extra scenes are quite interesting. You'd think that I'd be let down after all these years of hearing about this version and finally checking it out, but I did find the extra scenes quite interesting. Most of the scenes are what I'd describe as bureaucracy. Basically, it's Donald Pleasance telling the staff at the facility that Michael Myers is in that the security is hopelessly inadequate for him, the facility's hopelessly inadequate, and that basically he's a wolf of sorts, pulling wool over the sheep's eyes of the Institute. So the early scenes, we see Dr. Loomis, Donald Pleasance, basically testifying before these what would you call them? I guess you'd say hearings about Michael Myers, and telling them that they're all fools, basically, that Michael's got them all fooled, and that he needs a much higher security facility to protect the public at large, and of course Haddonfield. So there's those scenes. There's also a scene where he basically gives it to a bureaucrat after Michael's escape from the facility. And these scenes sort of take up about probably 8 or 10 minutes, I guess, of the entire running time. They're really just adding a bit of exposition. There's also a scene where he confronts Michael Myers as a child in his padded cell, I guess you'd say. And Michael Myers is just sitting there catatonic, staring out a window, staring and planning, presumably. And there's also a scene after the escape of this movie. I'm assuming you've already seen the movie if you're checking out this video. So, spoiler alert. And there's that scene where he's inspecting the room, interrogating the staff following the escape. And he does see sister, the word sister scrawled on the wall of Michael Myers' cell. Now, aside from that, we also see the cuts, of course. There's cuts to do with nudity, to do with drug use. There's even a reshoot involving the killer's point of view that you'll probably remember from the original film, or the original cut of the film, where you're seeing Michael Myers' point of view through the clown mask. That's been changed slightly, obviously to cut out the nudity involving his sister, Judith Myers, and also the murder of Judith Myers. The original movie was kind of bloodless enough, very low on explicit violence. A lot of the violence was imagined in much the same way as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But what violence there was is missing from this NBC movie of the week television cut. And you can see that most obviously through the new point of view scenes, where you get a much more limited view through young Michael Myers' childhood clown mask. Now, aside from all of that, the remaining scenes, there's mainly a filler scene involving Laurie, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, and Linda, played by PJ Soles, and you have Annie on the phone. And this scene really is filler material, unless you're into women's clothing, I guess. And there's probably some of you out there that are, I'm guessing. And it's all about borrowing clothes and all that jazz. Quite a needless scene. I guess it only just kind of builds a bit of the rapport between the friends Laurie and Linda and Annie. And that's about all it's there for, aside from probably padding out the running time and appeasing advertisers. They also cut any reference to the marijuana use in this movie, obviously, because this was televised well in the heyday of Just Say No, and when network television especially was very much, again, anything to do with explicit violence, sex, drugs, or rock and roll. Well, at least everything except the rock and roll. So all those scenes of Laurie and Annie smoking weed in the car are gone. And as far as the kills, they're all fairly toned down as well. So we no longer see Bob. Bob of the "Can I get your ghost, Bob" line, basically pinned to the wall with the knife from Michael Myers. That's gone as well. So I'll leave a link to the television cut, which was kindly uploaded by a gentleman called Darth Awesome. And the cool thing is that he's uploaded this cut in its entirety. We see all the NBC promotions. We see all the commercials. There's an interesting commercial involving Bill Cosby, of course, when he was the spokesman for Pudding Pop. So that looks a bit dark in retrospect. And it is filled with various other commercials. The other thing that struck me was how few commercials there were. And I think you'll get a shock at that. I think it's easy for even those of us that grew up in that time period to forget. Television wasn't filled with commercials back then. They were screened, or they did interrupt the programs rather sparingly. And that sort of is eye-opening, especially when you look at these streaming services now and cable TV services that we're basically paying money for. And on top of that, they're filled with more commercials than you saw in the NBC movie of the week back in 1981. So this one that I'll link to in the description, I'll try and link to it in the comments. It does warrant viewing as a bit of a time capsule, a bit of a curiosity if you haven't ever seen these deleted scenes. And the YouTuber that's uploaded it has uploaded it complete with commercials, so it would make a great overall Halloween time capsule if you're watching it or looking for something to watch during the spooky season. And that's about all that I have on the television cut of 1978's Halloween, directed by John Carpenter. There's been enough said probably on the movie itself, but I thought I'd go into the television cut, what makes it special, what makes it different. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I try to upload on the channel at least once a week, time permitting, hopefully more often. If you did enjoy this video, by all means, do a brother a favour, smash that like button. And if you have any comments on Halloween or on the television cut of Halloween that first aired in 1981, let us know in the comments. And as I said, if you did like this video, by all means, please like, share, and subscribe. It really does help out. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Take it easy.